page for hours. Please.
Greetings and salutations. This is Cage's Kiss, the Nick Cage podcast, where we discuss each of the National Treasure cinematic masterpieces and his life. Fuck, Donnie, can I take that over? Because I just realized, I changed the name.
It's staying in, but yeah, go for it.
God damn it.
What? I thought you changed it to Cage's Kiss, the Nicolas Cage podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I feel
God
like
damn it,
Season
Donnie, you better
finale.
cut this out.
Penultimate.
Once more with feeling. Greetings and salutations. This is Cage's Kiss, the Nicolas Cage podcast, where we discuss each of the National Treasure's cinematic masterpieces and his life. We also try to glean whatever kernels of wisdom we can from his characters that week. This week, fuck me, I can't talk. God damn it.
What are we doing this week?
What the fuck are we doing this week?
I don't know, but first
Have
of
you
all,
paid your
most
taxes?
importantly, my name is Linda, but this week you can call me Turbo Cheese.
Oh, I'm Adrian, and I'm the survivor of a movie this week. That's what I am most weeks. Hey, Donnie, who and what are you?
I'm Robocock, and you don't want to know anything more about that other than Directive 5.
I feel like I should proceed immediately to a rape crisis center.
It is rape o'clock.
I've got jets in my balls.
Oh.
They thought they could be gods. Today, we're discussing Cage's last movie of 2009, based on the iconic cartoon and manga, It's Astro Boy.
2009 is the longest year ever. It just won't fucking end. Christ. Every single movie he did that year was a fucking turd.
Yeah.
The only consolation is that at one point Astro Boy slaps himself, and you're like, "Yeah, Astro Boy, slap yourself. Now say you're impotent. Harder. I'm impotent."
Well,
and
he
you know,
had
right?
4
Yeah, it's
fucking
based on a
movies
manga.
in 2009.
Yeah, and that's 4 too many. He shouldn't have made any of them.
Oh, but in 2011, we're looking at 5.
Oh,
so,
fuck.
I mean,
God, is that the year he made that Chinese one with Hayden Christensen?
no.
I think so.
Outcast? Or was that 2014? I don't know. That one sucked too.
Yeah, that's later.
Oh, Christ. I know I always say this movie
Christ
hurt my
had nothing
dick,
to do
but this
with
movie
this.
hurt my dick.
It really did. It was creepy as fuck.
It was really creepy. And you know what? It came out on October 23rd, 2009. That's right, which is Linda's birthday.
The
Birthday.
worst present ever.
And it cost $65 million, but the worldwide gross was only $40 million. Oh, no. It was a box office bomb.
Oh?
And you know,
Good job.
it opened at number 8 behind Paranormal Activity Part 1 and Saw 6. And also, there was stuff in release like Cirque du Freak. The only movie that had opened ahead of that was that Amelia Earhart movie that nobody saw.
Oh, yeah. I forgot that existed.
Yeah, nobody
found
knew
that
it
movie.
existed because more people saw fucking Astro Boy, which is a movie nobody goddamn remembers.
But it has such an amazing fucking cast. And
I mean, we're used to that. We're used to that because every time they make one of these big budget, all CGI kids movies, they get all these A-list celebrities. They get to pay them scale because they're only voice acting, you know. And
I feel like if they would have just saved the money on that they spent on all these big name fucking actors and just spent that on a creative team and writing.
well, god damn it. Well, okay, so like you mentioned, Astro Boy, pretty significant character, created initially in 1951 by Osamu Tezuka. Who launched it as its own title in 1952. In 1963, it became the first anime, basically. And I linked you guys to that black and white pilot episode of that.
Yeah, thank you.
And which is really cute. You know, it's such a shame that none of that is reflected in this movie. Apparently, the original manga was not made available in English until 2002 because it took that long for America to get weeaboos.
Jesus.
And in the source material, Dr. Tenma sells Astro Boy to Haumeg and his robot circus.
Yes!
In some versions of it, because it's been a couple of different series over the years, he kills himself later.
Jesus Jesus Christ. I didn't know about that part. But I do know that
and it's a joke, son, a ridiculous joke. Ah!
it originally it appeared in the monthly magazine Shonen.
Yeah.
And he created it created the comic series Ambassador Adam. And apparently it was like too complicated because they had too many fucking characters coming and going, and one of them was Adam, and he didn't even show up until the fourth installment, and he would later become known as Astro Boy. But it seemed too complicated, and so he and the guy, the publisher, editor for the Shonen magazine, what is his name, Takeshi Konai, they adapted a simpler version which featured Adam because he was one of the most popular characters, and they released it in 1952 under the title Mighty Adam. And in it, Tobio, instead of Toby, it was Tobio, was hit by a car and killed, and his father sold him to that robot circus like you were talking about.
After figuring out that he screwed up, because initially I guess he thought the robot would grow.
Yes, he thought he would grow like a real boy, and
which is not necessarily unthinkable in the realms of science, if you're using advanced enough shit in nanites and stuff, I mean, not that was really considered in 1952, but
fair enough. But like in the cartoon you sent us, it was like, why don't you grow like the other children?
He keeps measuring him, and you get that adorable montage of Astro Boy playing with his toy airplane, like running around the world like year after year. And it's like, but father, you said I was just like your own son of flesh and blood. I'm going to sell you to the circus. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, so he never has that moment. The father never has that moment of like, I'll take you back now. I've learned a valuable lesson.
We get Nicolas Cage as this sort of diet Dr. Tenma in this version, where he's like, I'm less maniacal, but still basically insane.
I miss my son. I want him back, but oh god, I can't stand to have you here because every time I look at you, I look at my dead son. Oh, he says that.
Kind of funny how that works out.
Well, and Okadamizu is like, he's the head of the Ministry of Science. He ends up adopting him and creating a robot family for him, which included
Dr.
parents.
Elephant in certain dubs.
Yeah. And that was just bizarre because he made him a robot brother, a robot sister, and robot parents. And it tackled many subjects, including like really heavy subjects, like even including discrimination and the dangers of stretching the limits of technology for one's own gain, which this one kind of touched upon, but it was just
because it's got that trash can dog robot who's an Uncle Tom.
He can drive a car.
Go put the bodies in a wishing well.
But yeah, in 1963, Tezuka adapted it into a television series, and as Adrian was saying, it became the first animated television series in Japan, and thus the first anime. And at first, their budget was limited, so they used some money-saving techniques, including sliding a still on camera to make it look like it's been animated. Anime's
kind of been doing some of those ever since.
Oh, yeah.
At least before it all went over to the shit-looking CGI,
Well, they also did like putting animated action of a single object over a still and reusing scenes, so like animation scenes.
Yeah.
And as you were saying, it's still used today. So in that way, it's been very influential.
And it's also interesting for anybody who's seen a lot of anime to see how in the early iterations of it does owe more of a debt to early like Western cartooning, because it is very cartoony,
And it ran for 4 years and was adapted into a film in 1964. And but in 1963, Tezuka met with executives from NBC to discuss an American show where Mighty Atom became Astro Boy, and they changed the theme song, which Tezuka ended up using for the Japanese show as well. But in 1965, it ceased airing in the U.S. because most people at that time wanted a color TV, and with their brand new color TV, they didn't want to watch fucking black and white shows. And
and in American television, a lot of things had actually been broadcast in color prior to 63 anyway. They were all gearing up for it. They just knew it just wasn't available yet.
Well, he kind of played around with color and tried to have an episode in color there was just one. I think it was episode 56 or something like that. But anyway, in 1966, the final Mighty Atom episode aired in Japan. And then in 1980, Tezuka decided to revive the character with the color version of the show, which had content that was much darker than the original, making it more true to the manga. And then finally, in 1989, unfortunately, Tezuka passed away. But the show was brought back in 2003, obviously without him, blending the original show and the heavy subjects of the manga.
Apparently, he was working on his deathbed, right up to the last minute.
Yeah.
That guy was.
I actually thought you were going to say that in 2003 they reanimated his body like he wished in his will, and he was brought back as a Robo Boy.
Why are you rejecting me? I'm your son.
I am Tezuka.
Why do I talk like this? I was an old Japanese man, father. So
that's how he becomes Tetsuyo, the Iron Man.
This would you like a taste of my sewer pipe? So this 2009 American version. Astro Boy, he doesn't have the eyelashes anymore, and instead of being like a 6-year-old, he's like a 13-year-old. Because I don't know, let's court that tween audience. Yeah, their money's worth something. And even when it's Toby, before Toby gets killed, and they make Astro Boy later, Toby still has oversized hands, and his head's bigger than everybody else. And he's really fast on that test, so it's are we sure his first son wasn't a robot too?
That's what I was thinking, because I thought from the beginning,
when it tunes in, it's like
the story.
There's a lot of evidence that he's already a robot. What?
Yeah,
what?
I was like, okay, kid's a fucking robot, got it. But then he died, and I was like, oh. That's not a robot.
Yeah, I think that's probably why this failed to recoup the $65 million budget. It's like, hey kids, let's watch that movie where your surrogate character there gets killed in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Did it bother anyone else that the point on his head kept fucking moving?
Oh, they can't.
One time it's on his right side, then the next scene it's on his left side, then it's back on his right side.
It's hair gel, honest. Why are you being a hater, spray bottle?
His hair was sentient.
Yeah. They should have just worked with it and had the point where it reaches out and grabs somebody.
I'm still not convinced that he was not a sex bot.
Yeah, you'd think when you're reanimated in the lab, you find that you can't take your shorts off and your feet have bottoms of them all of a sudden. You might be a robot. I gotta go
if
show
you have
Dad.
Machine guns in your butt.
He'll know nothing of this. In this version of it, there's a blue glowy energy, this goddamn aqua little cheese ball thing that came from space, and it's all good, and that's what they put in Astro Boy. They could only get that much of it out of the thing they harnessed from space. When they made it, it made that flaming hot spicy cheese ball at the same time. That's the evil one. Because
we call that a MacGuffin.
Yeah, you call that a script written by a 13-year-old, or maybe by Timothy Harris. Timothy Harris, who started out writing novelizations and then wrote Trading Places, Twins, and My Stepmother is an Alien, and then descended into animated features with Space Jam.
Although My Stepmother is an Alien brought us Allison Hannigan and Seth Green.
Look, those other movies I mentioned are certainly better than this one.
That's for fucking sure.
Yeah,
I know that it was produced by the movie was produced by Imagi Studios, and which is really Wired put it as Hong Kong's version of Pixar. And the company's founder, Francis Kao, said, quote, "We worked very closely with Tezuka Productions and with the creator's son, Makoto Tezuka, to ensure we got everything right. In fact, he ended up hiring Tezuka's son as a creative consultant, but I'm not really seeing that spirit, that
Yeah,
I guess that soul.
well, there's quite a lot lost in translation. The director, David Bowers, is a former animator. And he did Flushed Away.
Oh, right.
And after this, he directed 3 Diary of a Wimpy Kid sequels.
Oh, Jesus! I didn't know there were
There
that
are
many.
at least 4 of those. There may be more. I didn't research it because I don't care.
Well, I know Andy Daly's in it, so that's the only reason I would want to watch.
Yeah. God.
And apparently, when Bowers was talking about the movie, he said, quote, "I was encouraged to expand on the universe, but at its core, the movie is still faithful to the original." Agree to disagree.
I didn't really. I looked it up a little bit, but do we know if any of the other iterations of Astro Boy had a city built around a flying Mount Fuji, or is that just some shit they pulled out of their asses?
I don't know. I
Because
do know that
this script seems to like we're going to implement some environmental and political themes.
Yeah, I do know that he inhabits a world in which pollution's ruined the Earth's atmosphere.
Oh no! So the real world, okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
Bye, Antarctica.
We all grew up in California. We know. We're familiar with smog.
Those smog sunsets are beautiful.
When he was talking about Cage, Bowers said, quote, "The first time we met, Cage went into incredible detail about the 60s version, including the very specific sound Astro's feet make when he walks. So we went to the Tezuka archive and found the sound effect, and we use it a little bit in our movie as an homage."
It's an adaptation, for fuck's sake. You can't be like, look, it's cute. We're using things from the original. It's like, you're adapting it, you fuck. It shouldn't be a time-to-time thing. Ass wipe.
Well, and apparently Cage was like a big fan. He said he grew up watching Astro Boy and felt that it was like a sci-fi version of Pinocchio, which yeah, I feel that. And I mean, it's kind of, I don't know, almost like a reverse Pinocchio. I don't know.
Yeah, I've heard people call it that, and I'm still waiting for somebody to use the term Geppettophile.
Jesus Christ. I think Cage's character had the facial hair.
Yeah, well, Dr. Tenma always had that weird face shape and like that weird fucked up like the beard thing where it kind of looks like somebody shot a poison dart into his chin.
I gotta remember when posting about this episode to use the hashtag Geppettophile.
Well, on the subject of Geppettophiles, the musical score was done by Bryan Singer regular John Ottman. Who in spite of the fact that he's a talented composer normally, delivered a completely generic 1990s kids movie score. Do you notice that?
Yeah, I don't even fucking remember it.
In fact, a lot about this felt very much like one of those shitty 90s animated family movies.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that it's made in 2009. The bit where like everything's a little saptastic and there's odd silences like throughout. Mm. And it's kind of like, why am I getting silence? I paid for a whole movie here. Fill that in with something.
And then there's the montage with the "we're just kids having fun."
Yeah. It's a selling products commercial. Check this out. We're painting things. Ha ha ha.
And apparently it was in 3D when it came out.
Oh sweet. That's 1D too many.
Yeah. What did Adrian say to the stripper?
Do you guys ever see that movie Tangerine? The cab driver's all like, "What, does it talk?"
Yes. That was the one that was filmed entirely on like iPhone, right?
Yeah. And it's got Clu Gulager. Clu Gulager back from the dead.
Cage also said that the fact that, quote, the fact that Astro Boy appealed to me as a boy in America was proof that the story and character transcend cultural stereotypes.
Huh, I liked it. That means it's immortal. God.
But he also, when he was talking about Dr. Tenma, his character, he said that he saw him as more like of a tragic character because he's lost his child and he
really fucked
brings
up
him
making a
back.
new one. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty
So
much.
it's like, did you jam those memories in sideways? Oh, he thinks he's my kid, but he's just not. It's like, well, I don't know. Did the original Tobio mutilate books and you just didn't know it? Or
I felt that, like, in this movie, he was less of a tragic character and more of an asshole.
well, yeah, no.
Yeah.
That's why the movie's called Asshole Boy. They're living in Metrosexual City there.
It's not because of the guns he has in his
It's
ass.
not because of the guns in his ass, neither. No.
Are you a pleasure bot? But
My robot's Eugene Levy. Yeah.
Oh god, I fucking love Eugene Levy.
So Dr. Tenma is the father of modern robotics, and he gives slave robots emotions, like all of them,
yes,
because he's a sadist.
right.
You know, it's really great that we have robots that like wipe our asses and stuff, but I want them to feel pain and regret their situation. Yeah, that would just make it sweeter for me.
But this fucking movie, okay, it has Bill Nighy again, Samuel L. Jackson.
Samuel
again.
Jackson saying 2 lines.
Yeah, right. And then it has D. Bradley Baker again, which I know isn't like he's not a huge name, but he was in G-Force.
And Charlie
And-
Bucket from the Tim Burton version of Willy Wonka does the voice of Astro Boy.
I fucking love him too.
And apparently
He's,
he's in some show called Bates
The Good
Motel that he might have been in, but I can't really confirm it. I'm pretty sure that was actually Bud Cort. So what? Just disregard
Yes.
that. Yeah, it was Bud Cort.
Yeah, obviously they got rid of it. IMDb got it
Obviously.
wrong. But it also had
Anybody out there who got that, I love that. So yeah.
It also had Charlize Theron, kinda.
Which one was she?
She was the narrator
She
for
was,
the
yeah, the narrator.
in the beginning.
Oh, what fuck? That's not even a cameo.
That's why I said kinda.
Hey kids, you live in a flying city and we throw our garbage on the ground. Let's do a pop quiz.
Don't worry, if our slaves die, we'll replace them.
We'll just make more. Yeah, it's like, 'cause that's totally efficient.
I mean, she was kind of basically there for exposition in the beginning.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
she she got some of the top billing. And
Of
Yeah,
course,
I
because they
noticed
wanted to
that.
get bums on seats. They're like, hey, let's convince people
Yeah.
all these people that they like so much are going to be in here a whole lot.
well, they also had Matt Lucas, who I fucking love, Alan Tudyk.
Well,
And-
did you mention Nathan Lane yet?
No, I was getting to him.
No.
Because they had Nathan Lane playing the typical Nathan Lane character.
Yeah, he's playing Cacciatore. What? I own him. He in my circus. What? Cacciatore.
Ham egg.
You take me to court. You see how it go.
Yeah. But they also had Donald fucking Sutherland.
That's right. I'm pretty much your evil president right now. Oh, look, red glowy. That's evil like me. I'll just stick it right in there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And it has Dag. It has David Allen Grier. I fucking love him too. But I mean,
I
looking
wonder if
at
he
the
refers to
credits,
himself as that.
Dag, yo.
Huh?
Yeah, I wonder if he refers to himself as dad.
You know, on the subject
does.
of Donald Sutherland, he actually got his big break on an episode of The Saint with Roger Moore. That's what got him the part in The Dirty Dozen.
when Carlo and I saw him for his stand up, Carlo got a beanie hat that says Dagaroni on it. So yeah, I think he's okay with it.
robot should be wearing my son's
No, I wasn't even like questioning if that was legit. I just like the idea of him just ordering like food and like, would you like fries with that? It's like, Dag would appreciate fries.
I certainly hope so. I'd like to envision.
I
that
take a
world
shine to
where he
her.
does.
Bring her to Dag.
Just bathe her and bring her to Dag.
Do you want to know the riddle of steel?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Wait, that wasn't him. Dag is stronger.
That's right. So
and
yeah,
then-
if you want to bring your dead son back to life, you give him missile legs.
Yeah.
Yeah, because why not?
But you don't tell him he has the missile legs. You toy with him for a little while.
Yeah, okay, so like that was one of my fucking gripes. Okay, so at first I was thinking like, okay, well, why the fuck does he need, jets in his ass and shit like that. But then, I was thinking, okay, well, because he built him to be indestructible, so he won't die again. But then
Maybe
I
you
started
could just
thinking,
like not take him to that laboratory. That's where you get killed.
right?
Yeah.
But then I was also thinking, like, well, wait, like he was gonna just let him go on believing that he was the real fucking
Yeah.
boy.
It's like a
So
VC
what's-
Andrews story or something.
Jesus.
Let
No,
them
because then he
die.
would be also like he'd have a sister who he was
Yeah,
having an
then he'd
affair
have
with.
sex with his sister. Yeah. VC Andrews, everyone. VC Andrews.
Yeah, that's every VC Andrews story.
Get them flowers all up in that attic. Oh, that's horrible.
Brother, sister banging, and kids. There, I just saved you a ton of hours. All that being said, I enjoyed the first three ones that were actually written by VC Andrews.
VC Andrews who died and then kept writing for 40 years.
Right?
Dun-dun-dun.
Oh yeah, that was special. But also last Cage quote. He said that, quote, "My heart is very much with the Japanese concept of Astro Boy, so I feel privileged that I've been invited to be a part of it. I also feel like I really want us to keep the charm that was in the original television show, and I think that's what's happening." Obviously, he said it while they were, I was going to say filming, but I guess that's not really.
This shows you how much respect the Hong Kong production company had for Japanese culture.
But okay,
Just
so here's
saying.
the thing. He obviously did know the show and he did enjoy the show. So there's some people who think that he phoned it in for this episode or this movie and could have possibly been literally phoning it in.
Yeah, I was gonna say exactly that. Yeah.
Yeah, how do you guys feel about that? Do you think it was just another paycheck?
Well, oh man, aren't they all?
Or is this the Coke
Yeah,
era?
especially when voice acting is concerned. I mean, yeah.
I mean, like the Cage animated movies and the Cage like voice acted movies. Man, these have been hard. These have been a tough road.
I know that G-Force was hard to watch, but at least like I felt like he was bringing his usual cagey best to the character, and I mean he even had like a voice, but with this he's
This is
not
another
even
one where he's
putting on a
not
voice.
really given a whole lot to do.
Yeah, that's true because he can't really like cage out in this. But even like I was surprised with his restraint, like in the scene where his son dies.
Yeah, well, don't want to keep that PG rating. Can't upset the kids.
Oh, well, okay, that's a good point.
Yeah,
I was
that's
surprised he just didn't do a voice.
in the.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Toby, it's dangerous
But I
out there
think-
for you. You come straight home,
Alright.
son. Try to fit in with the others, even though they're stupid.
Well, I feel like I mean it was about the content that he was given because they're kind of all over the place with his character because first he's like kind of a distant dick and then like total like chode of a dad,
A distant dick.
but then he's like, oh, my son, and I can't live without my son, so I'm gonna recreate him, and that's like, oh, that's very touching, and oh, he loves him and he's showing him love now. And then it's like,
had caged, it would actually be closer to the Dr. Tenma from the anime, with the maniacal laughing and such.
yeah. But then like all of a sudden the character's like, no, you're not my real son, fuck right off.
Yeah, well,
And then he's going back to being a dick and still sort of like depressing. But then in the end he's like, I learned a very valuable lesson. I love you.
Well, yeah, they can't have the original father actually reject him because family, and they want to sell this to every member of its Western audience.
True.
They can still show the kid dying.
Yeah, well, they can hit,
and being rejected by the father.
Instead of having the car accident and have the kid's dead body cradled in the father's arms, they have him just vanish from like the energy blast or whatever the shit. Which the hat survives, even though his clothes and shoes did not.
Yeah.
It just this.
And oh, god damn it! That fucking Pixar look with the goddamn color scheme. They give it that goddamn yellow green sky, and everything else is like aqua color, and it's like,
well,
Metro
that's
City,
for
the squeaky clean future. But everything when they're up there, they got the yellow sky, that's all supposed to be pretty. And even when they're down below with all the wreckage and pollution and shit, there's still green grass.
Mm-hmm.
It's god. Sorry, I know I'm get too much over the aesthetics, but fuck, they're terrible.
No, I think it's valid.
Like we
is the movie more closely related to Elysium?
I was thinking
Blade?
that too.
Oh yeah,
with the surface dwellers.
Yeah, there's a few things you could kind of toss in for that one.
I was gonna say like for the topics of discrimination and that like classism, you'd be better off going with Elysium or with District 13.
District 9?
I'm not.
Or District 9, yeah.
District B13, District 9, same thing.
I was thinking when you said District 13, I was thinking Donald Sutherland and the Hunger Games.
Is he in those too?
Yeah.
Old Donald Sutherland just sort of shows up. It's like, I guess I'm the villain. Let's get this done. Matamba virus, is it?
He's the
He's
president.
a president
in that,
who's
too.
also evil in that. Yeah.
President.
I didn't even think about that. Fuck.
President Evil.
Yeah. I'm going to be transparently the villain the whole time. My approval rating, let's go to war. Yeah. Murder, I like it. Yeah, sure.
Well, like
My
know
son's
that
24.
We've talked about it before. Like, I don't really like many kids movies unless it's something that Donnie and I saw as kids.
I haven't actually watched it yet, but like having watched this makes me appreciate that Into the Spider-Verse at least has an aesthetic.
Yeah.
I fucking love it.
And
like I haven't watched it. We're going to watch it eventually. I'm not excited about it, but boy, did it look better than this.
Well, they used a different mediums, but anyway,
before this even came out, somebody showed me a guy named Brandon who used to rent at the video store showed me a CGI movie made in Eastern Europe, and it was done mostly with it was done mostly with the modern 3D animation techniques, but it also had aesthetic aspects to it where they'd give it kind of like a graffiti quality, and characters would actually have bold lines and stuff like that. So it's still having fun. It's still a cartoon. It's not trying to ape reality, but with like freakish deformities like giant ass hands.
Yeah, but that's still a thing between us and European animation as well, is that they don't really restrict a lot of the shit they do, and there's a lot more they get for kids films put in there than we ever did.
Ever since the 50s, Europe's pretty much been ahead of the curve for us for like comics as well. Because there's places that they were not afraid to go. And everything in America has too much money tied up into it, and so it's all restrained into these boring ass forms.
Case in point, Mirka Andolfo. But I see what you're saying, and like I don't know, because like I was saying, it's hard to gauge how I would have felt about this as like if I were a kid. Because Donnie and I really didn't watch many kids' movies. Like growing up, it was mostly inappropriate shit.
Well, yeah, this is no Debbie Does Dallas. I don't know, like even when you're a child, sometimes when a thing's trying to pander to you. Mm-hmm. And this has got the pandering. We mentioned Dr. Tenma being different, and there's also a lot of evidence of focus groups here and attempting to appeal to modern teen and preteen audiences, like how he goes down to the surface after being rejected by Dr. Tenma, and he meets the robots, the scrap robots, and he meets those goddamn preteens and that girl with the streaks in her hair, who's like excessively sarcastic at every turn.
Oh, Cora.
Yeah, Cora. Yeah. Didn't you just fucking love her character?
Yeah, I loved her look of, hey, did you just fly and pick me up? It's like, no. It's like, you fucking liar.
I have a secret, but the secret isn't that I'm a robot. Ha ha ha. Good, because I hate robots. Screw them. I put flaming
especially
crosses
gay
on robots' lawns.
Well, yeah, I mean, she was played by Kristen Bell, and I fucking love Kristen Bell. But and though I do love a lot of the cast in this, still it was pretty like overall it's kind of white as fuck.
Yeah, well, what are you talking about?
don't care
They
about
got
the
Samuel L.
diversity issue
Jackson
much
on there
as
to
it
say
wasn't
2 lines as a
entertaining.
robot. Yeah, no, it was not.
Yeah.
Well, and how can you get entertained? There's no room to engage with it. It's a completely stock kids movie. Structure, like
Yeah.
voices, music, aesthetic, everything. This is an off the rack
Well,
movie.
and
They innovated nothing.
Like you were saying with like Charlize Theron, and it's just like I feel like they've misused a lot of these cast
Yeah, no
members where
kidding.
like they're all fucking amazing actors, but like they were obviously just there for their box office pull.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
But and that's what's like most frustrating of all, because it's like, god damn it, like now they have this blemish on their
Well,
IMDb
I mean,
pages.
that's okay. Nobody remembers that this movie happened.
That's true.
Yeah. Man, this movie could have ended so many times. First they kill Toby, movie doesn't end.
Mhm.
Astro Boy falls out the building, movie doesn't end. It's like, come on, movie, end!
Well, and they
Like,
can't.
even Big Hero 6 had one.
Yes.
Uh.
That's another one you should just watch, because I was thinking about that while we were watching
You
it.
notice that Astro Boy 2 is a champion of illiteracy? His
Yes.
dad's like, okay, your memory should remind you that you used to like books. Like, books? I don't like books. I like cutting him up and making him to airplanes. So maybe Astro Boy should have been voiced by Kanye West. You don't even have to give him any lines. He could just go off about how he hates books and education and knowing things.
It's like, fuck books, Dad. I'm here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
Yeah! Also, original Astro Boy gets in the arena and won't do the coup de grace because it makes him sad. Whereas this Astro Boy, it's like, fuck you, other robots. Fucking self-hating son of a bitch.
But that's kind of like another one of my problems. Like, I think my main problem with the fucking movie is that like they can't seem to settle on a fucking theme.
They don't have themes. They had a committee.
Yeah.
They're like, how are we going to get maximum
Yeah.
yield for the $65 million?
Yeah.
That's why
I
you
mean,
have lame
Throw in a
generic
little bit
shit.
of Oliver Twist and
Positive
Yeah,
energy and
exactly.
negative
Fuck it.
energy.
I was thinking
Then
of that
some-
Fagin character.
yeah, then somewhere someone watched this and thought, I'm gonna make a movie called August Rush.
Jesus.
Because it's just about as disjointed.
I forgot about that fucking
It was
movie.
disturbingly loud and incredibly close.
Yeah.
At least the kid was immensely talented in that movie.
Yeah, he's Bobby Fischer. He's searching for his own self.
Yeah, exactly.
So you notice how Dr. Elephant and Tenma there like have horrible deformities to their faces. So maybe all the kids in that universe are better off dying young or being replaced by robots. Just saying. You know, it's
They're
like
gonna
your
grow up to
features
be
are in balance
monsters.
now, but after puberty, you're gonna get a giant ass grapefruit nose,
You're gonna become an abomination like your dad.
and you're gonna sneeze every time you get upset.
Yeah, you're gonna poop a little every time you sneeze. Nothing you can do about that.
Wait, Donnie, do you do that?
No, and that's not why I keep Taco Bell napkins at my desk either. So moving on.
Every morning, I crap the bed. Oh dear Jesus! What did we do to deserve this?
Yeah.
And I had to pay for the fucking rental.
Me too.
I know.
Like, how dare they make you pay? Come on, Amazon. Come on.
They should be paying me.
They should. Well, I tell you right now. It's like, should anything cost $6? No, nothing should.
No.
No.
No, that's a deal breaker. Like new car, maybe $5.99, but not $6.
I don't know. Like I was saying, I could see where it might have been at least mildly entertaining as a kid. Although what's strange to me is that the cast that they have seem to be targeted for like an older audience, because like, I mean, I fucking knew who Alan Tudyk was at the time because he was in fucking Firefly and Serenity, but like, you know, I don't know why I didn't think about this before, but they don't really have any actors in there that appeal strictly to the younger audience.
I guess they're figuring that they're gonna, you know, the parents are gonna drag them in, and they're gonna be preteen kids, and they're not gonna pay attention to cast, and they'll just have fun. Even though,
I mean, I kind of
Astro Boy as a character anyway is sort of out of step with what Western kids movies were at that time, and they failed to bridge the gap. Like, they changed it, but they didn't really do it in such a way that they would make money. And they also, since they changed it, they're not going to satisfy anybody who appreciated the original.
Yeah, and it's kind of like Adrian hit on. It's just about asses and seats. But then you do get parents, like I imagine you and Carla would be with your own kid, going, "Oh my God, we got to show you this movie because Steve Guttenberg is fucking in it." And your kid going, "Who the fuck is Steve Guttenberg?"
And they'll say, "How dare you?"
Yeah, and when you leave your child screaming forever at the theater to be raised in the theater and gets their own movie made about being the kid stuck in the theater,
"You're not my son!"
You know, that's where it goes.
Get out!
That's a joke, boy! A hideous joke!
It's like, Dad, Mom won't let me in. It's like, is Carlo going to abandon his son? Why, yes, he is.
We're going to sell him to a robot circus.
You know, in the 19th century, this is just how you did.
Parts.
You know, start up a second family, get into gambling, you know, get somebody killed in a duel. You know.
Our beloved child, Shanks. Shanks Castro.
Howdy, y'all! I'm Shanks Castro!
We decided a while ago that if we had a boy, we would name it Shanks, and if it was a girl, we would name it Shanks. But yeah, that, or we were going to name the child after one of our pets, so then we could say,
at one point I wanted to have a child named Wilhelm and raise it by inverse example, making them loathe me so that they would backdoor get into all the stuff that I was really into, but all the things I would shove on them would be the stuff that I was not into. I had a master plan for a minute there before I got all gay, so...
So, do you guys feel like we are ready to move on to...
Oh, God. I'll feel better if I knew every copy of this movie was destroyed.
Well, unfortunately, since there's digital now, we can't do that.
Well, that's okay. You know, the whole thing will crash one day, and then we'll all die, and we won't have any memories.
Thankfully. Come on, coronavirus. But, I do have 3 things I might be able to contribute for once, since I bring nothing to the table. I know people usually like to talk about top reviews people give to bad movies, but I actually want to talk about the worst reviews this movie got.
Let's hear it.
These are my 3 favorites, and one of the longest ones is hate this movie so much. My 5-year-old chose this morning. It is so childish and twisted at the same time. For example, Scientist A sells out his fellow scientist, Scientist B, for the cause of science. An evil robot is born who destroys the son of Scientist A. But Scientist A uses rocket parts and cloning technology to create a new son. I stopped it because there's so much wrong with this movie. No such science. Be warned. The second runner-up was... the second runner-up, because it mentioned science, is the science is weak and the hairstyles leave much to be desired.
Yeah, put that quote on the box.
My absolute favorite, my fucking favorite of this, because it is my wisdom for this film, is cute concept. Nicolas Cage should just not do voices for animated movies ever.
Agreed.
Fair.
And that's my thoughts on Astro Boy.
Yeah. Christmas Carol, G-Force, Ant Bully, and now Astro Boy. Yeah, I'm seeing the evidence.
But
Yeah, I mean, it's like if you wanted, Nick Cage sounded depressed almost doing this. I mean, it just really,
Yes.
like you said, he had no life. It's like you would have been better going with Crispin Glover for this.
Oh yeah.
oh
And it
god,
still
that'd be
would have
awesome.
come out just as monotone.
Well,
And
it
I
seemed
don't
like
want you anymore.
yeah.
But Dad.
Even in the interview, like the videos of the interviews I watched, like while they were making the movie, like he seemed like really fucking like tired and out of it, and it just like and not focused.
Well,
so
you know,
it
there
makes
is-
me wonder.
Remember, there's always the non-disparagement agreement that people do when they make a movie, where they can't actually bash it.
Oh yeah.
Like, because when Cage was on Dying in the Light, which Lionsgate fucked up, they appeared with photos of large T-shirts that reproduced their non-disparagement agreement. They're saying like, we didn't say anything about it, but maybe consider what this says here. You know?
Well, but I mean, I'm not saying that like he was like he wasn't excited about it. I'm just saying that like it made me wonder if A, he was just really fucking tired, B, he was, because he did do 4 fucking movies in 2011.
Terrible movies.
Yeah. And 2 of them being animated films. But B, like, could it be drugs? Or like, did he just not really give a shit?
Do you think they gave him a fuckload of Ambien and asked him to read his lines?
I mean, maybe he was snorting that saccharin.
Oh yeah,
substance.
no, that had a whole other series of
Well,
facts.
we can get a hold of his bank, and if we look at the bank note and they say why he was paid this money, and his note says for drugs, we'll know.
Dag.
This is just reminding me of back when the Nicolas Cage produced movie The Life of David Gale was about to come out, and it was on the 20 at the theater, and they'd have that little pseudo documentary thing talking about how it was going to be the bestest movie ever. Or maybe the worst. They had interviews with the cast, and the way the cast described how excited they were for this innovative movie said to me, oh my god, you're all like hostages. Oh my god. Somebody free Kate Winslet immediately.
Blink if you are in trouble.
I am being treated well.
Do not send help.
I reject the capitalist system.
Do we actually have to face this off?
Well,
Yes.
I did write one down this time, oddly enough, because usually when we get to these, I'm like, oh god, I can't even think. Fuck it, I'll wing it.
Who you got?
Yeah, well, I'm going on a theme here, and the theme goes with what I'm usually watching for pleasure, because the things I have to watch every week are these Cage movies. So I'm thinking for Astro, Kevin Murphy. For Dr. Tenma, Joel Hodgson.
Okay, I'm seeing a theme.
For Donald Sutherland, Trace Ballou. For Dr. Elfman, Frank Conniff. And for that teen girl, Mary Jo Peele.
Teen Girl Squad.
And as the trash can, Mel Blanc.
There we go.
Beady, 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 beady.
Obviously.
Good luck, Buck.
I thought you were gonna say Richard Basehart for all the
Richard
parts.
Basehart.
I mean, I do non-ironically watch Richard Basehart movies, so fucking A, you know. That show though, oh my god, no, that's work.
I wonder if we all have themes to our answers.
Yeah,
this
let's
I
hear it.
kinda do.
I think
What do
we
you have,
should.
Donnie?
Yeah.
All right. So for Hamegg, I have William Sanderson. For Cora, I have Daryl Hannah. For President Stone, I have M. Emmett Walsh. For Dr. Tenmo, I have Joe Turkel. And for Toby, I have Rutger Hauer.
Holy shit!
Yay!
Oh yeah, all
It's
right.
like, this is a Blade Runner prequel.
But not for you, Harrison Ford.
Oh.
Yeah. That replicant comes.
Oh,
More like a replicant.
and then Harrison Ford travels back in time, and he has to try to take out that kid from 10 Things I Hate About You. That's his name now. Just get over it.
Oh.
So for mine, I have I decided, as I was saying before, this movie's pretty fucking white, especially considering the fact that it was a Japanese show. Originally in a Japanese story.
And then
So as Dr. Tenma, I fixed it by having Danny Trejo.
okay.
As Astro, I've got Fifi O'Hare. Or just like I'd say go with some unknown kid who's like either Asian or Hispanic, because I was thinking about it, I was racking my brain, and I realized not for the first time, I realized that there are barely any fucking like well-known Hispanic or Asian young
to
actors
us.
out there. Huh?
To most of us, unless you actually go further out, you'll find some. Because even Danny Trejo was a much, much larger name before he became big, thanks to Rodriguez.
Yeah. But also as Hameg, I have someone else I fucking love, Tia Carrere. Wayne!
She is Relic Hunter. She was in a Donald Sutherland movie called Natural Enemy with Leslie Ann Warren. And in that one, she does like 2 scenes, and then she gets killed by this kid who looks like Scott Wolf. I got that movie
Also
on video
fucking
at
love Leslie Ann
Goodwill,
Warren.
and me and my friend were watching it, and we started calling it Bioweapon.
Moving on. As Dr. Elephant, I have B.D. Wong,
Naturally.
another person
Yeah.
I fucking love.
And his penis, because it's the
And-
stage version of M. Butterfly.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Penis.
Yeah. So I could have a segment. Cool. Okay. I'm all right with B.D. Wong's penis. The B.D. Wong Wang. And as President Stone, I have Ming-Na Wen. There I am.
I want to call him Dick Stoneman, but that's based on that episode of Man from Atlantis, and I'm pretty sure I really am the only person who saw more than 2 episodes of that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure of it too.
Somebody's a nerd.
God, Linda, be more inclusive. Support Adrian. You liberal
Did
fuck.
you know that in the original Japanese version he was actually known as Rockman? I hope but you didn't know that.
They do look like strong ass cheeks, don't they?
Oh, yeah, you're right. It would be really hard to make clothes off work for this one.
I mean,
he has
at
shorts
the
built
end,
in.
Yeah, and he's not wearing a shirt.
He's like on Arrested Development. He's never nude.
Yeah, he's got the shorts.
I think I made a terrible mistake.
I blew myself.
2 things I couldn't shake out of my head while watching this was the animated Ghostbusters theme. So it's like every now and then I just started randomly saying, "Busted makes me feel good." But then I also started randomly wondering, which I guess fits into your face-off, is why we never got a sequel to Bebe's Kids, because I really loved that movie growing up.
Yes, we don't die. We multiply.
Now that just makes me
it's
think
fucking
of the
great.
movie Colors by Dennis Hopper with Sean Penn, which I wind up thinking of every
Oh,
time I go out on my job. Even though I am nothing like a
you
cop.
as Harvey Keitel, though.
You think I walk up to the car and be like, "So, where you been tonight, little kitty cat club, huh?" Yeah.
No, I still think you'll stop buses randomly. Like, why is this golf cart in front of us? Open your door!
You think that he goes around in a golf cart?
I wish I did. That'd be better off.
That would be awesome.
Even a Segway would be bad.
Oh
You
God,
get
I
on
don't
a
want to
fucking
be Paul
sidewalk
Blart.
and-
I may be getting the Paul Blart body, but I don't want to cross over to that. Oh dear God. This is why you people need to donate to our Patreon. Save me!
I want to picture you driving around listening to Citizens on Patrol. Specifically, just go, excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Oh, dear.
Oh shit.
Yeah, Goots, if you're out there, are you listening to this?
We love you. We love you, Goots.
We thought Assignment Miami Beach was the biggest pile of shit ever because you weren't in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
fuck
like
that.
Nerds in Paradise.
That was a sequel we earned.
Yeah.
So do you feel ready to move on to our somewhat new segment?
Oh, do we do that before or after wisdom?
Oh, we can do it now because I don't think there was any wisdom other than don't bring your kids back from the dead because sometimes dead is better.
That was totally actually my wisdom.
That's
so
the best.
yeah.
That's the best
don't
wisdom.
wanna be buried in a pet cemetery.
I was thinking a lot about that too. Watching the movie.
No, well, watching the movie, since I'm not crazy into technology, I was also thinking, like, why is it always robots? Why couldn't it just be Satan?
Yeah.
Dr. Tenma makes
Kids
a deal
don't
with the
know
devil.
enough about Satan these days.
Kids don't know it's not Satan.
Why can't he just be a necromancer?
Although, if you believe those psycho parents in the '80s who caused satanic panic, every single kid's cartoon was about Satan.
That's true.
Yeah, it's like, Mom, I made a little wheel for little Astro to get around after his broken leg. Did you even try reaching out to Satan?
He just wants one measly soul, child.
What are you going to use it for anyway? Like, what have you done for the Dark Lord lately?
Meet you at the crossroads, everybody.
You gotta get that train.
That ain't moving no train.
Up to the station.
Oh, Jesus. So Donnie.
Yes, I have an answer for last week's segment
What?
of Cage or Busey.
Oh, what was that quote again?
Yes. The quote was FAILING is finding an important lesson, inviting needed growth. So you don't actually fail. You find a better way to do whatever you're doing, and that's your ability, the truth of your core from past life experiences to where you are now in this life. It gives you the ability to be in your truth without anything holding you down in a box that will never open.
Balls, attitude, and
sadly,
direction.
that's not Cage.
That's not Cage.
It's Gary Busey.
That was Busey.
No.
That sounds
was
like
Busey.
something that Junior Brown would say, though, in that movie. That was played by Cage.
It does sound like
It
Junior
sounds
Brown.
directly like well, there we go. Now we have to do a retroactive face-up. That should have been Gary Busey in the remake of Kiss to Death.
Well, and the last one was the MVI. So we had like a little acronym theme going
No,
on.
I banda. There is no band. No, I banda, and yet we hear a band.
Okay. And I have the new one for this week.
Oh,
It is, quote, if you put an elephant in the center of a circle and go around that circle 1 degree at a time, you will see that elephant in 360 different perspectives. Was it Cage or was it Busey?
I think it was some Paul McCartney lyrics.
Yeah, I think it actually was Paul McCartney who famously said, I watched a snail crawl along the edge of a razor blade. And I thought, my God, the simplicity.
Yeah, it was like a diamond bullet got like shot into the middle of my forehead, and I'm like, wow, like they actually have a lot of heart, yeah, but they're cutting off all those inoculated arms. Yeah.
Did you know if is the middle word in life?
He forgets himself with his people, man. He forgets himself.
Wait, what are you doing in my bathroom? Who are you?
And I still want to mention in that we went straight to Paul McCartney. No one cares about Ringo.
I care about Ringo.
I don't believe in Beatles. I just believe in me.
We love you, Ringo. I love you. I'll ride in your yellow submarine.
It's just like with Kiss. Yeah, I'm all about the Ringo and the George Harrison. Because they were in
George
Kiss.
Harrison. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Detroit,
They were nice
Rock City,
saints.
Rock City.
Yeah, of course, we all remember Paul McCartney and George Harrison in Too Young to Die.
Let's go back and look at his body on the bottom of that cliff and observe what type of genitals he had. Good idea, Vanity. I'm indistinguishable from Apollonia. Yay!
I particularly enjoyed all the things that George would do with his tongue.
And with his spirograph.
Oh, I guess do you guys have any other wisdom? Donnie, you shared the best.
Yep, Donnie stealing my thunder, taking the wind right out of my sails.
I actually tried to think of something for this.
Let's face it. With this movie, it wasn't worth it to try.
The lesson is to not watch it in the first
Dear
place.
listeners, if you have children, or even if you don't hate yourself, never watch this movie. It's not worth that $4.
And I really don't think it's one of those movies where, I can't see, a kid wanting to watch it over and over and over again.
Unless you have a hard drinking
If they actually did go the Satan route with this, I would have watched it.
Oh, yeah. No, 100%. Yeah.
So I guess that's the time where I say, please, please, please listen, follow, rate, and review Cage's Kiss, especially on Apple Podcasts and over on Podchaser too while you're at it, please. It helps other people get to know us, and it helps us get boosted. And I can't talk.
Podchaser,
it helps other people discover us who otherwise wouldn't even listen. But also,
choose a pod for you.
We hold each other closer as we shift to overdrive.
Oh, don't even get me started on Turbo Lover.
I asked Carlo if he would let that be our song for our wedding, but for some reason he wasn't into it.
No. We should have had the wedding in a parking garage, and it should have been Billy Ocean. and you got your vows already worked out during the song. Who, me? Yes, you. Get into my car.
Oh, anyway.
Podchaser.
So, also check out our shit on YouTube. It's awesome. It features Adrian's awesome cage art. And check out our Patreon at www.patreon.com/CagesKiss. Remember, you can find Cage's Kiss on Facebook and on Twitter at Cage's Kiss. You can visit our website at cageskiss.com, and you can write to us at cageskiss@gmail.com. We love Dem's correspondence. Also, check out my other show, Bedknobs and Broomflicks. Our latest episode was on the movie version of Stardust.
Holy shit, you gotta watch a good movie?
I'm a superstar, baby.
I know, isn't that bullshit? They get to watch good
I know,
shit.
you
We get to watch nothing
movies
good.
with Ricky Gervais and a non-embarrassing Robert De Niro? Wow.
We get to choose what we want to watch.
You do.
And I want to cover Warlock on it.
I see how you are now.
We're going to be covering Warlock soon, and we're actually going to be covering The Little Mermaid, especially because the connection to it. You know what?
Has thou not been baptized?
Ariel has not been.
Oh, yeah. I just knew it. That movie just smacks of Satan. Psychics, gargoyles.
Oh, what do you have, Adrian?
What do I have? Oh God, yeah, case the crabs, got them anal crabs. Mm-hmm. Oh God! Well, by the time this is out, my latest issue of Dreadful Tales will be out on the DeviantArt, which is something that I do with my buddy Edie Phoenix and various other very good, talented people on DeviantArt. I'm Leo the Fox on DeviantArt.com. You can also find it by that, and I'm Leo the Fox on my Patreon, and I needs them monies. I put exclusive artwork on there, and the Cage artwork I sometimes preview on there also, so you could check that shit out.
Don.
Nice. Don is the Unreal Goals on the Twitter. And I'm also the Boy Who Blew over on PornTube, or Pornhub actually. And other than that, you can find me at your local strip joint. I'll be in the corner with a sack of quarters.
with
Writing
the strawberry gum.
Yeah.
I was gonna say riding the mechanical horse.
I ride the
ball.
They have those there, right?
Yes, it's the only place I can afford dinner now, okay?
They got them nice hot wings.
I like it when a
They
soft
got them
pretzel,
$5 hot wings.
falls beside the Miss Pac-Man there. People leave it there even though it's perfectly good, and I'm more than happy to snatch it up.
That's right.
But anywho, we're going to be covering the Little Mermaid because of the connection to Divine.
Oh yeah, Little Mermaid. It's got all those great songs like "A Whole New World."
Dare close your eyes.
We're gonna have to touch upon those awesome songs. Wish I could have a vagina.
What's there, Mama? I'll tell you when you're older.
Ariel's underwater palace. It looks like a phallic shape. Yeah.
Priest has got a boner. There's all kinds of great stuff in there.
Yes, he do.
Uh-oh.
In the words of the Jawas, kiss my boner, everybody.
You'll be hearing from us next week when we cover Kick-Ass.
All right.
Hot diggity fuck.
Hopefully I can rent that for less than $6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do my armpits smell like Cheetos?
What did you do? What do you have to eat where something comes out of you smelling like that?
Why does it smell like shrimp out of my dick when we eat shrimp?
Is it from when you're
What's up with that?
from all that coffee?
Well, I go to the bathroom and I take a shit,
Sneezing?
and my shit smells like a condom. I didn't need condoms, and I'm not gay, so what does that tell you about me as a person?
I don't eat corn because corn doesn't go out the same way it goes in.
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
God. You know, the most disturbing thing are those little zebra-colored seeds that come in the sausages. And those sausages taste just
You
fine,
know,
but when
you
you
ain't
see those
wrong.
later on, it's like, I don't know. For a while, the Big Lots had one of those muscle milk type beverages, right? I think it was from Kellogg's, and they had them in like this one's caramel flavored, this one's banana flavored, this one's strawberry flavored, and later when you pee, it's caramel flavored or banana flavored or strawberry flavored. It was so potent that it flavors your fucking urine. It makes its way
I've been
all the
drinking
way
the-
through your kidney.
I've been drinking the carnation breakfast shakes,
Yeah.
and like I was having the vanilla ones, and I peed. I peed like that. It's like one of those.
Just imagine this shit, okay? Like later on, hopefully in many years when you pass, they'll be doing the autopsy and they'll get into your fats, because everybody's got those, and they'll be like, huh, this is mocha flavored, delightful, because it'll still fucking be there.
Because I peed, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh,
It should never, as,
Nice.
even, as unpleasant
Lovely.
as it is, it's really healthy for your pee to just smell like pee.
And on that note, tune in next week, and we'll say off to you now. What's that got to do with Nick Cage?
hey,
German expression is pee.
that's my side.
Peach. I could eat a peach for hours. Please. Kiss me.
Can you imagine a world immune to all forms of cancer?
Ladies and gentlemen, the time has come for our 4th annual live stream for the cure.
And this year, we need your help more than ever.
Please join us May 27th through May 31st for 48 hours of live content from guests and podcasts around the world.
We'll be aiming for our most ambitious goal to date as we try to raise $10,000 for the Cancer Research Institute.
Please visit www.livestreamforthecure.com for more information on this year's event and how you can be a part of it. Together, we can make a difference.
Hey, this is Jeff.
And I'm Chris.
We've been friends.
Acquaintances.
No, friends.
Shipmates.
Dude, come on, we've been friends.
Fine, sure, whatever. We've been friends for 24.
Whatever, dude, it's been a long time.
Yeah, no kidding. We host a show called Round and Round. We discuss the worst.
And sometimes the best.
Headlines we can find. Watch for signs of the Cold War heating up again. And desperately try to find some good news to celebrate. Occasionally, we delve into important topics impacting the world, the nation, or those around us.
And every once in a while, we take a break from the real world to talk about new movies or to revisit and reimagine old movies we love. Find us at rnrthepodcast.com, tweet us at rnrthepodcast, and download Round and Round on Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you cast your pods. Join us every Wednesday, won't you?
I wouldn't recommend it.
That's fine.